Well, Summer del Piso in great weather outside. Hopefully the rest of the season could continue just like this. This now will be the minimum of the temperature that we're gonna have for the rest of this month. So Summer del Piso, back once again. What we're gonna talk about today, right? We're gonna do some more Bible analysis. We're gonna move away from Proverbs. Proverbs is a treasure trove of information. However, there are many more books in the Bible that have just as valuable as information as King Solomon's words for the uninitiated. So what we're gonna do, where we're gonna go, is we're gonna go to the book of Daniel, chapter 10. So let's talk about Daniel a little bit. Let's give a little bit of a background. Daniel, what happened basically at that point of the story when we get to the book of Daniel, is that this is post King Solomon's sons warring against each other. They warred against each other so much that they became split. The tribe split into the tribe of Israel. There was the rest of the tribe, and then there was the tribe of Judah, which was led by one of the descendants of King Solomon's sons that warred against each other since the days of Chronicles or Kings, I forget. And they were both tribes of Israel, both parts, were ultimately under the rule of Persia, some king of Persia, who didn't follow the ways of the God of Israel, which worshipped other gods. They passed their children through the fire, all that stuff. And Daniel was one of them special children that were receiving the word of God, receiving the prophecies of God, and was one of the many prophets that God sent visions and things to, including Ezekiel, including Isaiah and Jeremiah and such, that warned them of a coming calamity that will befall the children of Israel, since they just didn't listen. They're just prone to hardheadism. I don't know if that's a term, but you guys understand what I mean. So we're gonna talk about Daniel 10, and we're gonna see if that image, that vision that Daniel had given to him by this being is indicative of the height of the abilities of one male on semen retention, on the peak of their practice. So like, comment, subscribe, leave some comments, please, about your opinions of the significance of this being in the chapter of the book of Daniel. So let's get into it. Daniel chapter 10, first line, in the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, right? So Cyrus is now the king of Persia who presideth over both parts of the tribes of Israel. A thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belteshazzar, because remember, Daniel is a name given to them by God of God, you know. Belteshazzar, that's the name that I'm guessing Persia gave Daniel, because, you know, that's their culture. That's what they will call someone named Daniel, I guess. And the thing was true, but the time appointed was long, and he understood the thing and had understanding of the vision, right? In those days, I, Daniel, so the book of Daniel is written by Daniel himself, from the prophecies that he was receiving by God. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks. I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all, till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. We're getting a little bit of a background story here. Daniel was, because he was incredibly smart and incredibly intuitive, and it seemed like he was all around this special individual. And of course we know why, because he was ordained by God to receive the prophecies of the coming calamities and disasters that were gonna befall the children of Israel. He was basically favored by the people of Persia, the royalty of Persia. And this time in particular, he did an extra fast. And this is probably what led to the vision that I'm going to talk about now. And in the 24th day of the 1st month, as I was by the side of the great river, which is Hiddekel, I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. I don't know if I said that correctly. So look, basically Daniel is talking about, he had this vision after the 3 weeks of his intense fasting, right? Of just some man in linen when the Bible says the loins were girded with the fine gold of Uphaz, that means that they were continent. They were a eunuch, not a eunuch, you know, due to the traditional definition of a eunuch, which is one that slices off their member and they have no choice. They can't have sex or they can't do any reproductive function and they're stuck as a eunuch. No, it is a person who has girded their own loins, who has who has been sexually continent, who has been completely celibate for the sake of heaven, for the sake of the worlds above. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. It's like imagine. You walked around, you're used to dealing with people that speak a certain way, that act a certain way, that think a certain way, and inevitably act a certain way based on their thoughts. Then you meet some individual whose voice is like it. You just have no choice but to listen to their voice. Their eyes, it's almost as if they're staring into your very soul. They have like some sort of aura, some glow to them, but they're not literally fluorescent. Imagine being confronted with an individual like that. What would you do? It's like being confronted with an angel in the Bible. Be not afraid, just go flat on your face and just make sure that they don't hurt you. If we go back to this entire description of this being, clearly these are all amplified benefits from being on the practice of semen retention for an extended period of time. Your body was like the beryl. That means you have a glow. We already know due to semen retention, when you retain a lot, you're retaining a lot of nutrients, you're retaining your experiences, you're retaining a lot of the elements that are in your physical ecosystem, your physical space. And so this provides you with this glow. The refinement of all of those things provide you with this glow. Similar to that of a beryl, I could imagine, which is some jewel. The face has this appearance of lightning. Your face obviously changes due to all the nutrients that you're retaining due to the practice of semen retention. Clearly you are going to seem like some being that has a face of lightning. Lamps of fire, of course, there is the benefit of people saying that, the benefits of semen retention, one of them included, is this stare, this very, very strong stare. Similar to, imagine lamps of fire in your eyes. Your voice is the voice of a multitude. It's like you're speaking from many different experiences. You're speaking from as if you were many different people due to the experiences that you have that have been refined due to the practice of semen retention. This is not definitely a far cry from the height of the possibility of being on semen retention. Of course not. Let's continue. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, for the men that were with me saw not the vision, but a great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. An allusion to the aura that is produced when you're on the practice of semen retention for a long time. You're not edging, you're not peeking at licentious things, you are not looking at adult material. You're retaining all of this due to your subconscious reprogramming, a different display of your reality. And which comes back onto the refinement of that then experience absorbed into your aura, which will cause this quaking, right? Which will cause this intimidation of the people around you that are not on the practice. Therefore, I was left alone and saw this great vision, and there remained no strength in me. Of course, because it's some being. It's just some powerful being. It's just. Imagine. Can you imagine being confronted with a being like that? You wouldn't say it. What do you say? How do you start the conversation? Hey, fancy a chin wag, or hey, how's the weather today? You don't have the capacity to engage in small talk with an individual such of that stature. For my comeliness was turned in me into corruption, and I retained no strength. Yet I heard the voice of his words, and when I heard the voice of his words, then was I in a deep sleep on my face, and my face toward the ground. And behold, a hand touched me, which set me upon my knees upon the palms of my hands. Not only Daniel was in the marvel, right, of such a powerful ascended being, clearly at the height of the benefits and the height of this person's time on the semen retention practice, but he fell on his knees, devoid of strength, sapped of any ability to try to communicate with the individual. And the individual touched Daniel, and all of his strength, all of his power then came back into his body. And I'm guessing he's going to continue a conversation with this being. This person has the power to imbue strength and motivation and inspiration to an individual, which is yet another benefit of being on the practice of semen retention for a long period of time. Your words carry this strength, carry this power that just happens to inspire the individuals around you. For the individuals that are on the route to ascension, there is the inverse ability of your voice of someone that's on semen retention for a long period of time that sends people into an intimidated shock, and they seek to just leave your presence because it's just uncomfortable. Either way, that these are part of the boons, the good qualities that come about when practicing semen retention for a long period of time. And he said unto me, O Daniel, a man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright, for unto thee I am now sent. And when he had spoken this word unto me, I stood trembling. He's still scared because this being's aura is unreal, right? He's clearly he has never sexually sinned. Clearly he has been on the height of this practice. So everything is just condensed, refined, powerful energy just in an individual, in a humanoid form. That would be very intimidating to be in that person's space, absolutely. And then he said unto me, fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words. Do you hear? Like, listen, it's not enough that you have to be on the practice of semen retention. It's not enough that you're retaining your essence, you're retaining your power, you're retaining your experiences, and you're walking with gratitude, compassion, and benevolence. But you also have to impose austerity measures upon the self, physically, spiritually, and mentally, to even be in the favor, to be in the welcome into the good grace of the monad. This is what this being is saying to Daniel. So he's like, you fulfilled the conditions to be gazed upon by God. You're good. We're not going to do anything crazy to you. I'm just going to tell you some messages. Just get up and listen to me. He says, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me. I don't even understand this. Sombra's a little confused about this. I read this for a while, but I don't understand this part. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days. For yet the vision is for many days. So clearly this being is perhaps some sort of time traveler that basically was in the future of the days of the days to come, the future days, and was sent back to talk to Daniel directly about these experiences to come and how he should prepare himself. Because in these days, remember the tribes of Israel, they were worshiping other gods. They forgot the God of Israel, the God of their forefathers, Isaac, Abraham, and Jacob. And they started doing very, very perverse things. So their days were numbered, and God was speaking directly through a lot of different individuals in order to warn them about the days to come. And when he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground and became dumb. Because it's this powerful being that's shining. His voice is it sounds like his voice is coming from all these different areas, but it's so strong and direct. Of course, just prostrate yourself. Go down. And behold, one like the similitude of the sons of men touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spake and said unto him that stood before me, O my Lord, by the vision my sorrows are turned upon me, and I have retained no strength. How can the servant of this my Lord talk with this my Lord? For as for me, straightway there remain no strength in me, neither is there breath left in me. So even with this revelatory information that this powerful shining being said to Daniel, Daniel believes that he's still not worthy enough to hear his words. He's like, please, I am so sorry. I am not worthy to listen to these prophecies. Please, I don't know if I'm the one that you would like to speak to. And here comes this guy again. Then there came again and touched me one like the appearance of a man, and he strengthened me. You see, he touched him second time. Listen, gain your strength, gain your morality, and said, O man, great beloved, because you have went through the vicissitudes of fate. You have went through the punishments. You have went through the trials and tribulations that is cast upon all men by the Lord God. Fear not, peace be unto thee. Be strong. Yeah, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened and said, let my Lord speak, for thou hast strengthened me. Then there's more, of course, but that's in the following chapters. But clearly, this book, this chapter of this specific book is indicative of the powerful nature and benefits that one derives and one obtains due to the practice of semen retention. You are able to have an ice cold stare that intimidates. You have a voice that either mobilizes, galvanizes, and spreads morale into the people around you that are willing to hearken to that information. Or quite the opposite, you intimidate, you scare, you repel in this modern physical reality, this modern world. We, as men striving to better ourselves and ascend, eventually you have no choice. We have no choice but to become like that being that was presented to Daniel in the vision. All that is necessary is practice. All that is necessary is discipline. All that is necessary is focus. All that is necessary is having the ears to listen to advice, whether it comes from the drunkard, or it comes from the president, or it comes from a CEO executive, or it comes from a family member. Hearken to advice. Be knowledgeable in the ways, the objective ways of this physical reality and this world, and study the things of the above. And eventually we're gonna have skin like bronze, so we're gonna have eyes like fire, and our voices are gonna be able to speak to the multitude with the multitude, because that is just the inevitable result of an individual practicing semen retention. And with that being said, that's all I gotta say for you guys today. Like, comment, subscribe, of course, share the video with some peers. We are gonna continue this Bible analysis, and plus I have plans on talking about different texts, because we can't just be biased with Judeo-Christianity. There is the Buddhism, there is Hinduism, and I know a lot of the texts of those respective religions in order to communicate to you guys and how they connect with semen retention. So don't let this place get you down. This world is nice sometimes, but sometimes there are just things that happen that will try to destroy your morale. But we got to go through it because we're temporarily here. It's not going to last forever. You know, we're not going to be here forever, right? So let's try to ascend in the finite time that we have, and stay radiant. I shall see you guys in the next one.